Today, I'm opening up some slimes from SHEIN and seeing if they need fixing or not. Let's get started. Okay, so the first package came in this little black bag and it felt really securely wrapped. It was covered in bubble wrap and the slime underneath it was in perfect condition. And as I unwrapped it, I noticed that it was in like a honey pot container and it just looked adorable as it was. I knew that if I did need to fix this, I wouldn't need to change how it looked because it was really pretty as it was. Honestly, I was a little taken aback when I opened it because it smelled so good like honey and I really didn't think this would be scented because it was so clear. Usually fragrance oil can make clear slime go a little bit murky, but this one was beautifully clear and the texture of it was amazing. It was so thick, so stretchy, and just like a really good clear slime. And it honestly worried me that I wouldn't really have a video here considering this one definitely does not need to be fixed. It felt really unique and like a glue that I'd not used before because it was stretchy but also not in the least bit sticky, which clear slime usually is a little bit anyway. The only kind of critique I'd have is the packaging, and not necessarily what it came in, but more of the fact that it didn't have a label or a name or kind of any information about what was in the slime. But I also don't know what I expected ordering it from SHEIN, so that's on me. Now, would I order this for myself again? Probably not, because I know how to make it, but if you wanted to get a slime that was really cheap, I'd recommend this one. It was pretty good and did not need fixing. Okay, the next package we have was also super securely wrapped and in perfect condition. This one did have some labels on so I can see where it's from, and it also had like a plastic wrap around it, which just made it super secure and so that the slime could literally not leak at all. The first impression I kind of had was, wow, this is beautiful and it's crystal clear and just so pretty. And I was really hoping that the texture would be good. And at first I did. I really thought the texture would be good because when I first poked my finger into it, I was like, wow, this is a super thick, clear slime. The issue kind of came about when I took it out the container and tried to stretch it, because although this was super thick and kind of like a really nice putty texture, it just would not stretch at all, so wasn't actually that fun to play with, considering you could only really just squeeze it between your hands and that's it. So because I didn't want a crumbly slime, I went about trying to fix this. The first thing that I kind of thought to do was just add some more glue to it and see maybe if it was just overactivated and see if it might soften up and give it a little bit more elasticity. I felt like usually this would work with most slimes because there shouldn't be that much activator in it to keep it together. But I was mixing this for a while and literally it got worse. I did not know what went wrong because the slime felt rippier and harder and tougher than it actually did before I started. But now it was just sticky. I was contemplating for so long what I should do next, whether I should add clay, add water, or like microwave it or something crazy. But I ended up just sticking to my gut feeling, which was it just needed some more glue. So I went ahead and added some more and mixed it in for what seemed like forever. Now, I can't lie, I was getting really bored at this point because nothing was changing. I went in with my hands and was mixing it, but the slime was just a little bit softer and just still as rippy and just not good. I was disappointed and honestly did question if this could even be fixed. But if you know me and have watched any of our other slime fixing videos, I will not stop until the slime is fixed. So I went ahead and added some more glue because I just thought it might work. And you're probably thinking, well, it didn't work the last 2 times, so why are you trying it again? And I honestly don't know. I wanted to. And after another 20 minutes of mixing this with my hands, it eventually softened up. Now, this definitely wasn't super stretchy. This is like still tough as anything, but at least it was stretching. The texture of this though was so strange. It almost felt like the glue I added hadn't combined properly, so it just felt like a rubbery, gooey blob, and I needed to add something that would just make it combine and feel like it was one texture. So I added some clay. Now this clay was actually a little bit sticky in itself, so I was kind of hoping it might soften it as well, and it was kind of strange to mix in. As you can see, it kind of looks like they weren't joining together at first, and that's because it really wasn't. But after a little bit of mixing, it did eventually come together, and the texture was really nice. It kind of felt like a classic fluffy slime, you know, with like a ton of shaving cream in, apart from there was no shaving cream and it was just like a hard slime mixed with clay. I feel like I don't really need to say this, but this one definitely did need fixing if I wanted something more than a putty. And I'm definitely glad I did because look how much more slime I have now. The next package we have was actually surprisingly light, and I was a little bit worried that this would have leaked because the plastic container was just so thin. But luckily, literally nothing had spilled, and the slime looked in perfect condition. This was a clear slime with pigment in, and it was honestly gorgeous. I was a little bit hesitant because the last clear slime we had was rock hard, but this one was perfect. It was super soft and stretchy, and the color of it was just gorgeous. The only thing I wish is that it was a little bit bigger because the container was kind of small, but that's on me for ordering only a little bit. And as soon as I started playing with it, I kind of knew that I did not need to fix this slime. Now, to continue from this one, I did actually order another slime from this company, and this one was clear this time. Well, the other one was a clear slime technically, but it had pigment in, so it wasn't crystal clear like this one. And when I say crystal clear, I mean crystal clear. This honestly felt like I was playing with glass, and as you can see, it had the same soft and stretchy texture as the last one did. In fact, I think I prefer this one a little bit more because of the specks of glitter in it. I feel like it just takes it to a whole new level. And if it's not obvious already, both these slimes do not need fixing, and I would recommend them. Next up, we have our first white glue slime of the video. This one came pretty securely wrapped too, and was plastic sealed around the edge of it. This one was a little bit strange to me because it wasn't an official Elmer's product, but had like an Elmer's sticker on the top, which was kind of ruined anyway by the barcode that was stuck there. But I'm assuming it was made with Elmer's glue, but it's also just like kind of a yellowy beige color, and it smelled kind of bad. Now, it didn't really smell like it was dirty, it just smelled kind of chemically, so I ended up putting some gloves on because whatever it was, I didn't really know if I wanted it on my hands. But as you can see, the texture kind of seemed a little bit soft at first, but the minute you tried to stretch it, it just fell apart and kind of crumbled and broke. The minute I'd opened this, I kind of knew that it was a slime that needed fixing, so I got my bowl ready and just put the slime straight in there with some glue. My first goal was to try and give this a better texture, and I feel like if I added glue, it would give it a little bit more structure, and I could always reactivate it if I needed to. Unlike the green slime, this one actually responded to the glue really well, and it melted it down pretty instantly. So while it was sticky, I thought instead of getting fragrance oil all over my hands, I'll just mix it in while it's still wet, and I ended up using a mango fragrance oil, which actually really masked the chemically scent, and made it smell really good like mangoes. I guess maybe I'm just getting a little bit too good at this because I added the perfect amount of glue to not need any activator, but also just to improve the texture and make it stretchy. Now, because this slime was actually quite small, I wanted to make it bigger, but also not add more glue to it, so I ended up going in with some instant snow, and then just topped it up with some bright orange dye and some more water, just to go with the mango vibe. Surprisingly, this was actually super easy to mix in, like the glue was into the slime, and it was actually really satisfying, because the snow was kind of just sticking to the slime instantly, and forming a cloud slime. Now, I say it was easy, but it did take a while for the slime to fully combine with the snow, and I did end up kneading it for around 15 to 20 minutes. But I actually think it was really worth just giving it a little bit of extra time, because this formed the perfect cloud slime. Now, because this was so perfect, and it was actually kind of the perfect size for a container, I ended up just putting it in one and drizzling a little swirl on top to try and make it look extra cute. Of course, I had to top it off with some sprinkles, and I found this super cute mix that went with it so well, and also went all over my table. I topped it with this little star charm because, truth be told, I didn't have a mango charm. A mango charm would have been ideal, but this also looked cute, along with some glitter. I have to say this was probably the most surprising transformation out of all the slimes that we had to fix, because that tiny little container of slime that smelled and wasn't stretchy at all is now a super fluffy, bright orange giant piece of slime that drizzles and stretches perfectly and smells like mangoes, which is of course a plus. I'm glad I was able to fix this, but I would not have recommended the slime to start with. Well, I had so much fun opening these slimes up and seeing if they needed fixing. Some of them definitely did, but I feel like we were able to transform them into slimes that I would actually play with. And some of them just came great as they were. If you guys like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more videos like this one, make sure to hit subscribe. Until then, I'll see you guys in the next one.